One of my favorite parts about the day is dinner. Today, or tonight, I'm eating chicken pesto pasta by Peak Refuel. Peak Refuel is definitely one of the best brands when it comes to dehydrated meals. They're the ones I look forward to the most. They're expensive, but man, when you're out here on days on end, you don't want to cheap out on food, because I'm telling you, man, I'm getting tired of my lunch and the food I eat throughout the days. Trail mix and summer sausage. I'm gonna be on day 6 of that tomorrow, and I'm already, like, I'm honestly doing a lot better than I thought, but I can tell if it goes to day 12, I might never eat trail mix and summer sausage ever again in my life. Wind has been very good today. Today is a drop in the temperature. Prior to today, we've been like low mid 50s and high 70s and low 80s for the high. And today we're dropping down to like 40s, and the high today is like 60, so we dropped down a good like 15-20 degrees on both ends of the spectrum. There's no wind. It's bluebird skies. It's just very chilly this morning. I have all my layers on, all my puffies, and I'm still a little bit chilly. But the good thing about this with no wind is the wind is very consistent, so the wind's blowing down and back, which is why I sit this spot, because it blows from the wallow to my face, which means the elk, if they come into the wallow, they can't wind me. It's just a very chilly morning. It's been unproductive. I've thrown some weird thuds, but it was different than the elk from yesterday morning. So I was trying my hardest to like listen to what this was or what this is, and it was so subtle that I was not sure if my ears were just playing with me. So I sat so still for like 10 minutes just trying to pick this apart and see what it was. And like, I don't know, 35 yards to my bottom left from below the wallow, I catch the black movement of an animal. Immediately I was like, that's a bear. And it looked like a good bear. So I turn on all my GoPros or all my cameras, and I'm like, I'm about to shoot my first bear with a bow. And so I see the mom. It turns out it's a sow and 2 cubs. I think I have this sow and 2 cubs on my trail cam. I see the sow walking through this gap, and like 10 feet in front of it, I see just like the back of a little black bull. And immediately I'm like, oh, that's a sow and a cub. So I put my bow down, and since they were below me and they were gonna walk down past below me, my wind is blowing straight down the ridge, so I knew they were gonna wind me at some point. And so I went and grabbed my handgun because, man, when it's a sow and a cub, if she catches my wind, I don't know if she's gonna bolt or if she's gonna charge. Most likely they just run, because that's typically what they do. They try to avoid conflict if they can. And so I'm still focusing on this sow and this black cub down here, right, like 25 yards below me. And I hear something behind me, and one of her other cubs, which is a chocolate little cub, comes running behind me. I think this chocolate cub came up to the wallow. I don't know where it came from. I think it went to the wallow because all my attention was down low. And I look behind me and I'm like, are you kidding me, dude? She has a cub right next to me. And if this cub starts crying, this sow might charge me. This cub came like 5 yards, like super close. And I'm looking at this cub and I'm like, please, just run away. And it kind of finally looks at me, kind of picks me out, probably smelled me. And then that cub just takes off down, and all of them just take off down the ridge.
Halfway through our food. Day 6, we're at the 50% marker. I'm hungry. Time to go to the tent and fire up the jet boil. Ow, that's hot. when it comes to long hunting trips like this, the only thing that I really get concerned about is batteries and whether or not my batteries will last the trip. I mean, I'm just a day over halfway, day 7. I still have day 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and technically 13 to go. I think this camera will last. I only brought 2 batteries for my DSLR, and the first one just died on me. The second one has 87%. My GoPros, I have 3 that I know of are full. I have the 2 in my GoPros, and then I have a bunch of other ones in the tent, and I need to go through them tonight to see which ones are actually dead and which ones are still feasible to use throughout this trip. That's really my only concern. I think definitely next time when I come, I'm gonna buy a solar charger, and I'm also gonna bring more than 1 power bank, because right now I'm at halfway on this one. This is just the power bank I use to charge my phone so that I can communicate with my family, because I do have my Zoleo, which is right here, this little thing right here, my satellite communicator, because I don't have service if I kill an elk. So I don't know what's going on, but it seems like everything in my tent is just ripping. So my inner piece has a hole in the mesh so bugs can get inside. They can also get inside through that little piece that a mouse tore up 2 nights ago. Not yesterday, or not last night, but 2 nights ago. And so this is where I'm sleeping. This is where I lay all my gear and my bow. And right now I'm just checking to see how much batteries I have. So all the ones that I've used or have very low power, I throw them in this bag. These right here are just the ones that I need to plug into my GoPro. And then what I'm doing starting yesterday night is I'm gonna put all my batteries and my GoPros in here, and then I'm gonna toss them in my sleeping bag, and I'm gonna sleep with them. That way they stay warm and they don't drain out from the cold.
It's been relatively quiet this morning. The wind is very calm today, which is good because on these calmer days, the wind is consistent. So when it's calm like this, the wind is just blowing down, which is good because the wallow's above me. Right now, the sun is beginning to hit all the treetops, and I had this squirrel climb up to a tree, or climb up a tree onto a branch that was being lit up by the sunlight, and it's currently taking a nap. I just thought that was the coolest thing ever. The only thing that I can rely on seeing when I sit the wallow is squirrels. I'm pretty sure that's the squirrel I named Dot, because on his right side, like on his stomach right above his thigh, he has a big black dot. So I call him Dot. I'm pretty sure that's Dot, but he's facing the wrong way, so I can't see his right side. He's taking a nap, which I think that's what all the elk are doing too.
I'm back at camp a little bit early tonight because I'm planning to hike out as soon as I finish eating my dehydrated meal. And it's crazy to think, but I've been out here for 9.5 days. I came in on the day before opener, which is half day, and then I've been hunting for 9 straight days, which is mind-boggling. It's gone by like that. But the reason why I have to hike out is because my phone and my portable charger, it's not going to last me until the season ender, which is Thursday. So it's not going to last me until the next 4 days. And so I'm going to go back to the truck and I'm going to charge my phone and my portable charger. And since I'm already back at the truck and I'm going to have my car turned on anyway, I'm just going to drive into town and go buy some different food than what I've been eating for the past 9 days or so. So I'm going to eat this really quick and then I'm going to pack up everything that I don't need for the rest of this trip, which is mainly just garbage like this. And then, yeah, I'm going to drive back tonight. Then I'm going to sleep at the truck and then just hike in really early tomorrow morning and just head straight to the wallow and not have to stop at camp. It was a good change of pace last night. Drove into town, got myself some chicken sandwiches, a cheeseburger, some macaroni salad, and some potato chips. I only ate one chicken burger, so I'm packing everything else I bought in with me. I wasn't planning to stop at camp this morning. I was gonna hike straight into the wallow, but I figured might as well drop off some stuff at camp before I head over. So I have some stuff with me that I need to drop off at camp. Some luxury items, if you will. It's almost 5 o'clock, so hoping I get to the wallow just as the sun is peaking. Only have about an hour 30 before sun starts to rise. We gotta make our hike quick. Here we go, day 10. I am cold, wet, and miserable right now. All of this part of my leg, or the pant, basically from my thigh all the way down, is This is all drenched right here, so I'm trying my best not to touch it because it just feels gross. I would just take off my pants and dry it out, but I feel like it'll dry faster if I wear it. That way my body heat is constantly trying to evaporate the moisture. But all my gear is wet. My sleeping bag's still okay. And I'm just trying my best not to move and waiting for this storm to pass. The rain seems like it's slowly letting up. The wind is still howling, which I hope the wind keeps going so that it pushes off all these raindrops on leaves and stuff like that, so that when I walk around in the brush, I don't just get hammered with a bunch of dew and moisture. But yep, that's where I'm at right now. It's definitely taking a hit on me mentally. I mean, this is day 10 of my hunt. Pretty absurd because this is definitely the longest solo hunting trip I've ever done in my life. And with each passing day, like, it just kind of eats at you that it might not ever happen. And then you just have a dampener like this, and it really just kills what little vibes you have left. Last night, I told myself that today is my reset day, day 11. My gear is just so wet. My pants are still drenched right now. And so I just said, you know what? It's day 11. I've been hunting for 10 days. We can take a slight break before we get back to hunting. And so I slept until like 8:30, I think. And 8:30 is when I thought I woke up to the sound of a very squealy bugle across the mountain. Slowly crawled out of my sleeping bag, put on my wet pants, wet hat, and I got down to this knob. That right there is my food tree. You can see my bag of food hanging up there, I think. And I get to this knob and I can see like part of this clear cut, and I look clear eye. I don't have anything besides my bugle tube and my diaphragm, and I look at the bottom and it's a bear. It's just a black blob in the middle of the clear cut, more towards the bottom, I should say. So I scrambled back to get the camera, and sure enough, it's gone. But yeah, this moisture, as bad as it is for me getting drenched last night, this is actually the type of weather that I would want if I was to be hiking around and bugling, because obviously it's 8:30, 8:40, and a bear like that is just cruising in the middle of the clear cut. And I would assume that same rule applies to elk. Like, they're just so much more comfortable staying out a little bit later and being more active on their feet, just because it's cooler and they don't overheat. So I'm gonna take it easy, and whenever I get done packing, we'll go by ear and do whatever feels right. Back to the wallow. It's like I never left. Everything is damp and cool. Because everything's damp, you don't make as much noise when you're walking around. But that also works in favor for animals because their footsteps are also silent. Here we go. Day 12.
sat at the wallow for a couple hours this morning, and it's really cold. I can't sit anymore because I'm just freezing. So I'm packing up, and I'm just gonna start still hunting and working my way through this dark timber, and eventually making a big loop back onto my camp. The sun's kind of peeking through, but it's really cold, so I'm gonna warm up and hike down here, see if we can't stumble upon a bull. No luck for my little hike through the dark timber. So I'm perched on top of this beautiful outlook rock, and I can just see for miles just mountains in the distance, and just kind of soaking it all in. I went down into the timber, tried to pick up on any fresh elk sign, and the freshest elk sign that I see or saw was the elk signs of the 3 cow elk that I called in on day 5, and that was the freshest I've seen, and just nothing else. I've been throwing out cow calls and bugles and no response. And so Boomer 6, he survived my arrow. He did not get arrowed, but every single year that goes by, I'm learning more and more about the behavior and patterns of this bull. And so prior to me even buying my tag this year, I kind of had a feeling that archery season was not going to be it. If anything, muzzleloader season would be the ticket. I was really hoping I was going to draw a multi-season elk tag this year. I didn't. So I just said, you know what? I'm throwing all my coins into archery season. I'm going to sit there from first day to day 12. And if he shows up, he shows up. If not, then he survives. And so he did not show up during archery season. And the last I know of him was September 6th, which was 3 days before I showed up for the opener hunt. But let me give you a little bit backstory behind Boomer 6, and that way you guys know my plan going into 2024. So Boomer 6, this is why I call him Boomer 6. So the reason why I called him Boomer was because I actually just named him back in July with Nate. And the reason why I called him Boomer was because when Nate and I came to retrieve the trail cam footage of him last year, he was regressing. And this is one of the first bulls, literally the first bull I've ever gotten on pictures or on trail cams where I've got him in his prime, and then the year after I got him regressing. And so in 2021, that was probably his last year as a prime where his antlers were just full, and like that's just what a mature prime bull looks in 2021. In 2022, last year, it was obvious that his antlers were not growing to the full length that they normally have been, and instead they've been just massing up. That's a clear sign of a bull that's regressing. They don't grow the main beam length that they normally do in their prime. They don't get the tine length, but they grow a lot of mass. This year, 2023, he's regressed even more. His beam length is definitely shorter. Granted, this year he's a 7x7 instead of a 6x7 like last year. But that's just the way they go sometimes, just depending on the feed they get on that year and how moist and how good the vegetation is. And so he's a 7x7 this year. Who knows? Maybe he won't make it through this winter because he's just old. I really hope he does. But back to the story of Boomer 6. That's where I got the name Boomer, is he's regressing. No offense to any of the boomers watching out there. I just thought that name just fits so well. The number 6 came from the idea that if I killed him this year, or if I just kill him as my next elk, he would be the 6th elk I've taken in my life. And so that's where the name Boomer 6 comes from. Boomer because he's regressing, and 6 because he would be elk number 6 I've taken in my life if I kill him as my next bull. That's the name Boomer 6. But back to the story of Boomer 6. So the first time I ever got photo of him, I believe it was actually 2018 in Velvet. It was July. He came through. I wasn't sure because it was just I only got his fronts when he came through the wallow, and only got one picture. So I don't know, but just by comparing the pictures from 2018 to 2021 and 2022 and 23, his fronts just look the same, identical. Whether or not that is him in 2018 or not, it doesn't matter, because fast forward to 2021, September 20th, he came through during archery season for the first time where I actually got a full look at his antlers. In 2021, I actually did muzzleloader season, and so I wasn't hunting archery season. In 2021, he came in, and he first showed up on September 20th, only came in once during September. And in October, during muzzleloader season, that first week and that second week of October, Boomer 6 was at that wallow almost every single day. And it wasn't just him. He had a herd of cows, and he had 2 other younger bulls. And at that time, one of the younger bulls was a raghorn, literally a 2.5-year-old raghorn, and the other one was a spike. So that was 2021. Fast forward to 2022, Boomer 6 showed up at the wallow September 5th. That was the only time he showed up in September. Fast forward to the first week of October, muzzleloader season. Boomer 6 was here almost every single day with a herd of cows. And the other 2 younger bulls, which is now no longer a spike and a 2.5-year-old bull, it's now a 2.5-year-old bull and also a 3.5-year-old bull. They all came back. And so considering the fact that these 3 bulls show up at the wallow and have the most activity here during muzzleloader season, maybe 2024 is the year we get it done with the smoke pole. So I've been on a cycle: muzzleloader, rifle, archery, muzzleloader, rifle, archery. I did muzzleloader in 21, shot a bull with Jacob. I did 2022 rifle last year, shot my 6-point last year, and then this year I went for archery. I tried to pull the 3-peat Washington over-the-counter multi-weaponry 3-peat, meaning I shoot one with a muzzleloader, a rifle, and archery in 3 consecutive years. And I did it with a muzzleloader, I did it with a rifle. I could have done it with a bow, shot that cow with a bow, but my mind was just fixed on Boomer 6, or a bull for that matter, and it did not happen. So I'm telling you all of this just so that the story kind of makes sense as to why I'm doing what I'm doing. Obviously it didn't pan out this year. That's okay, that's hunting, it's not guaranteed. I'll be back next year with a smoke pole, or if I draw a multi-season tag. But it's day 12 and sun's high. I went through that area, did not hear anything, did not see any fresh signs, so I'm just going to go back to camp, pack up, and call it a season for my 2023 Washington archery elk season. From here on out, we're moving on to the next hunt of the season. Archery was a blast.